Hello, my friends. Today I'm going to show you how to paint this blue dahlia with watercolor and gold pen highlights. I started with this sketch of the dahlia that I had drawn previously, first in pencil and then with black ink. And it has lots and lots of petals, which is nice because we can play with lots of different shades of blue when we're painting it. And you can see some of the line work in there as well. And we're going to pick some of those lines and highlight them in gold. The first step is to trace it using carbon paper. That's what I found works really quite well. So you can see there just a little bit of the line work where I traced the sketch. And then I take each petal that I traced and I just pick a different shade of blue. And I'm using Winsor watercolors for this. And you can see different shades of blue there on the right in the little tray there. I really used a combination of turquoise, intense blue, and Prussian blue, and different combinations of those. I think in some cases I even added a little bit of indigo to get a bit of a darker color. And I'm just picking different petals that are away from each other so that the color doesn't bleed into the other petals, and slowly painting each petal in a slightly different shade of blue, trying to make some of them a little bit more intense, some of them a little bit lighter, and it's really just easy and fun. And so I've skipped over to show you sort of the next step here, doing some more of the petals and letting adjacent petals dry before I add color to the one beside it. And it's just a fun process, really. You can pick any color you like, do some of them a little bit lighter, some of them a little bit darker, and it gives it a nice effect. You can even go back in later and do a second layer if you'd like the color to be a little bit more intense. And I did try to make it a little bit darker the closer it is to the middle. So you can see that sometimes I added a little bit more pigment down towards the bottom of the petal, and then it ends up being just a little bit lighter towards the edges. So that's why I skipped some of these steps. You can take your time, really enjoy each petal, but this is the general process. And then I added the stem in sap green, and I added a little bit of hooker's green as well to make it a little bit darker. You can layer it. Again, you can let it dry and add another layer if you like. And then we'll be ready to add the black background. So this is what it looks like with all the coloring. So at this point, I added some of the black background, and I used lamp black from Winsor & Newton, and it's a very opaque color. So it's quite nice, and it's very saturated. And I just worked my way through and made it black all the way around the petals using a bigger brush for the big areas, and then going in with a much smaller tip brush. So I used size 12 for the big areas and maybe size 0 or 2 to get really close up to the blue petals. Then when it was all dry, I added the gold pen, outlining every petal in that gold pen. This is a Sakura Jelly Roll gold pen I use in a lot of my art. I really like it. It's very smooth and easy, kind of flowing. And it's quite shiny too, which is nice. So again, just outlining every petal. And then after we outline all the petals, we can go in and add a few sort of line highlights to give each of the petals a little bit more movement. So this part is pretty easy to do. You're just going over, and this is nice because you can, if you're a little bit messy in each of the petals, you're not going to see it once you add those gold lines. So this is what it looks like when it's done. Once I've outlined all of the petals, I go in and add just a few little lines just to give a bit of movement to each of the petals. And this is what it looks like close up. So you can see the shininess. And this is the finished piece. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe and like this tutorial, share it with your friends, and I will see you next time. Thank you.